And I always start by saying there's a couple rules that you absolutely have to follow in order to make body language an effective tool. And body language, a polygraph, statement analysis, those are just tools that investigators can use just to get information from someone, whether it's truthful information or deceptive information. And sometimes I want people to lie to me so I can lock them into that story. Because I'll ask someone, okay, just start from where you think it's most important and tell me how we got here. Now, the reason I do it that way is because I don't want to give them a timeline on where to start, because it may be important to me where they start their story at. A lot of times, people that are honest will start at the beginning and chronologically tell you the entire story. Sometimes people that are guilty will start right after the incident occurred, and then they'll start telling you the story. So I always say, start from where you think it's most important and tell me how we got to this point, because I want to see where they started from. And so then I just listen to their story. And as I'm doing this, I'm going to ask, let me back up just a little bit. I let them tell me the entire story and I don't interrupt them. Tell me everything from beginning to end, because I want to lock them into that story. And then I'll go back once they're finished and I'll start asking them questions about that story. And the easiest way to find out if someone's lying to you is have them tell you the story backwards, because people don't rehearse lies backwards. They rehearse them forwards. So when they start telling the lie backwards, most honest people will add information to the story because they remember it as they're going backwards. But if they really got to think about what they said 5 minutes ago, then you might have some issues. And I always ask everyone 2 questions at some point during the interview. What's the most serious thing you think you've ever done wrong while you were on school property? And I'm going to watch that body language. Most people have never been asked that question.
That was, yeah, I'm like, that came out of
school,
nowhere.
what did I do in high school that might have been wrong? I chewed gum and ran in the hall.
Yeah,
Because-
maybe we should beep that out of the show. I'm teasing it, like, no, but it's, but wow.
Why
yeah.
is that important, Eddie, the school?
Because you want to ask them a question that it makes them think about the answer. Because when I ask that question, you looked up and to your right, which means you're accessing a portion of your brain that has to do with long-term memory.
A few years ago since I had to think about that.
And most people have to think about that. And so I want to see what that body language is, what that looks like, because that's probably going to be a truthful answer.
Right.
Well, when I was in the 5th grade, I skipped school, or I cheated on a test, or I drag raced in the parking lot, or whatever it is. They'll think about that. And so I'll just kind of keep note of that body language. You know, what did that body language look like when they told me something truthful?